Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, who knew? The Ukrainians are ready to land in Crimea. Or at least this is what some intelligence services are telling us. And this is the article that I have here from, it's an Ukrainian media outlet. It's called The New Voice of Ukraine from today, December 15th, 2022. And this is the title: Russia preparing for Ukrainian troops landing in Crimea. Intelligence tells us. Okay, well. Now, Russian forces in Ukraine's Russian-occupied Crimea Peninsula are digging trenches along the Black Sea coast as defense against the landing of Ukrainian troops. Ukraine's AGUR military intelligence's press office reported on Telegram on December 15th, today. They are building other fortifications as well, Ukrainian intelligence said. And I'm quoting again. The occupiers in the temporarily occupied Crimea are getting ready to meet a landing of Ukrainian troops, end quote. The AGUR's press office wrote, and again I'm quoting, along the coast near Molochne village, Saki region, minefields and trenches have been put in place. Well, it seems like the Russians are here to stay. Ukrainian intelligence also reported that, and I'm quoting, dragon teeth, end quote, tetrahedral fortifications of reinforced concrete to impede the movement of heavy vehicles are being put in place. The fortifications are the ones that are with, like a pyramid made out of concrete. Supposedly tanks cannot go over those, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the Maginot Line, if you are familiar with the Maginot. After the First World War, the French thought we're going to build a north-south line from the lowlands, Holland, Belgium, and what's the other one? Denmark. That's called the lowlands because they're below the sea level or something like that. And they built this line of defense, very well designed, very well concrete, with towers of defense, with underground tunnels that would communicate with, I think there were some railways over there that would go underneath. So for the troops, it was very, very intelligent project. But there was one problem, and the same problem is with the Maginot Line as it is with the so-called, or it is called, the Great Wall of China. If you break one point, everything else is useless. So the problem is, I don't know if you ever looked at the Great Wall of China. It has two endings. What if you go around them? You know what I mean? When you go around that's exactly what the Germans did in the Second World War with their Blitzkrieg. They didn't go to the Maginot, they went to the lowlands. Yeah, they invaded those guys and say, move over, Red Rover. And they went over, and the French were like, where the fuck are these guys going? Hey, we're here, hello. Go and catch them. That's how it was, and they didn't catch them. So the Russians are doing the same thing with the Maginot and second Maginot Line. I hope that Maginot Line is, it doesn't have an ending and a beginning. Ukrainian, yeah. On October 1st, Kirillo Budanov, the head of the UHR, main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, said that Ukrainian defenders will be in Crimea by the end of the coming spring. Wow! When does spring start? March or something? 20th or something? 22? Where's that equinox? Cheers, rock. Some very good plum wine. Not the one with, if you read somewhere where they say artificial bullshit was added, don't buy that shit. That's a false thing. Buy the wine made out of plums or wine made out of grapes or whatever. When you say artificial blah 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 blah, off. All right, let's move on here. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in August that the liberation of Crimea should bring the war to an end. That's a joke. As it began with the occupation of the peninsula in February and March 2014. That's a joke. These guys will not end there, and they will ask for reparations and Putin to be hanged and all that. Yeah, and the Russian population must pay for everything and all that. So that's why you weasels in Russia who now willing or unwillingly support the war, let's say you don't support the war, remember, once Putin is hanged, if he's hanged, you will pay forever reparations to Ukraine. Remember that. So make your choices. Just saying, but that's a reality. And you will be again at the same point you were, or even worse, you were during Yeltsin time. And I'm not using it, oh my God, it's a threat. What do you think? These guys are going to just come and hang those guys to give you what? Democracy and justice and freedom? Okay, if you want to see how that worked out, I suggest you look what's happening in Iraq and see how much freedom and democracy they have brought with made in the USA. Okay, and then if you look at that, plus the money, the reparations, and plus the guys that are going to be in charge of you. Anyway, I'm just saying, if I would be a Russian, I would be... No, I'm still having here. But I can say it loud because I'm proud. All right, let's go. Too much wine, I guess. UK broadsheet, the Financial Times, wrote that after the occupation of the western bank of the Dnipro River in Kherson Oblast, Ukrainian artillery was now able to reach the three main supply roads from the Russian mainland to Crimea. The roads play a crucial role in supplying the Russian invasion force in Ukraine. You know what's very interesting? The very interesting is that most of the articles I'm reading, and I'm not reading only Russian propaganda, okay, which some of it is. I'm reading Ukrainian propaganda, I'm reading American propaganda, I'm reading British propaganda. I'm an, how to say, open opportunity propaganda receiver. Okay, so after I'm reading all these things, I would get about, from my understanding of, okay, about 80% of these articles tell me that the Russians are in a full swing offensive in Ukraine right now. I don't hear the other way around. So I don't know what's going on here. I mean, these guys are doing this and doing that, but they cut the supplies. They cut the supplies, but I know that in Bakhmut, in Avdiivka, you know, in Donetsk, these things are, the Russians are in a, towards the finish line. So anyway, I don't know exactly what happens over there because they all lie, obviously. But you got to read between the lines sometimes and get who's saying what and who's not saying what, and get as much information as you can. But if you look over the map, you're going to realize town by town by town which way the front moves, east or west. It's not hard to figure that out. When they say, well, fights occurred in these towns, these settlements, take a map and look over it. And then the next, after a week, look back and see again when they're going to report, hey, fights were between these guys in that region, the same region, in that area. And then you look and say, hey, is this an advancement or is it a retreat? What is it? And you make up your mind. That's how you do it. It's very easy. I mean, these guys can talk, but if you know a little bit of geography, have a little bit of memory, write it down, then that's it. Pay attention. Thank you very much for being with me again. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.